So Hawaii is the latest state to offer a regulatory sandbox. And you see regulatory sandboxes internationally, right? Like Mauritius has had them, Bermuda had one, and there's some other locales that have one, but three states generally have one: Utah, Wyoming, and now Hawaii. And Hawaii had initially allowed 12 participants, but recently reopened their regulatory sandbox to allow for more, with the application period ending in late February of this year, 2021. And the value of the regulatory sandbox is obviously that we are a country, and with the exception of a few states, particularly New York and Louisiana, that does not have crypto specific laws. We have money transmitter laws, and money transmitter laws were developed for remittance platforms. And the problem with many states, and Hawaii was always one of the more difficult states to obtain the license, was that predicated on the fact that these laws were written for remittance, they would make certain requirements upon the license holder. And in Hawaii, the biggest impediment to operating there was the fact that you had, as a money transmitter license holder, you had to hold an equal amount of dollars in reserve that you had being held on behalf of clients. So in the context of like a crypto exchange, that's very hard, if not entirely impossible, because as you can see, like right now, for instance, with the price of Bitcoin constantly going up, you would constantly have to increase your reserve to have an equal amount of money, cash on reserve, as you had funds, or in this case Bitcoin, in customer accounts. Now the regulatory sandbox, which lasts for a period of 2 years, says that you can operate absent a money transmitter license. And it's usually, as it has been offshore, it's a precursor to actual regulation, to like the implementation of a license, right? And so what you're seeing is this sort of grandfather period where you can get in and not have a money transmitter license, but run an exchange or OTC desk or whatever, without having to go through the license, or more importantly, adhere to the capital requirements. Now, in order to apply, you have to show and demonstrate a certain ability to run the business that you purport to or seek to run. There are capital requirements which aren't posted, but are generally an objective standard regarding sufficiency for what you intend to do. And you have to then apply, right? And the application is a written application, and you receive what's called a no action letter back when you're selected, and that no action letter means that you've been accepted into the regulatory sandbox. And it's a good thing. It's generally a good thing because it gives regulators time to kind of observe and understand what they can expect when they do legislate for crypto, right? And you see that, like with the Bit license, which there was no precursor in terms of like a regulatory sandbox, the licenses, can be very difficult to obtain, as I found out personally. And that's because regulators really didn't know what they were looking for or what they were looking at, right? And so this regulatory sandbox, as it has been in my experience in offshore jurisdictions, has been useful in the sense that it inures to a more cogent and malleable licensing structure that hopefully will come online at the end of this sort of 2-year period of being in the sandbox. So if you have interest in Hawaii and the regulatory sandbox and how you operate there, definitely hit me up, Adam at AdamTracy, TRACY.io. Happy to answer any questions you have, and I'll talk to you later.